Hello, this is Uzo, and some of my movies have been kind of negative about ESO lately, so I wanted to show one fight that was a positive. It's a very fun fight against a VR10 sorcerer. I spot him at a distance, and I use my crippling grasp, which has a huge range in PvP, to get him off his mount and root him. I double up on the crippling grasp to keep him in place long enough for me to get an invasion off on him. That invasion ends up hitting him in mid bolt escape, so he does the bolt escape, but at the end of the bolt escape you'll see that he is stunned on the ground. This allows me to invasion again to get right on top of him. He breaks the stun and blocks my root. As soon as I see him break the stun, I know he's going to bolt escape through me, so I block it to avoid getting stunned myself. I turn since I correctly predicted his direction, and I use invasion to get on him immediately. I want to stay on top of him, putting pressure on him so he can't be free to cast on me and damage me. Also notice that I used the potion here when my stamina reached half. My potion gives back health, magicka, and stamina. The reason I used it is because staying up with him is a battle of my stamina versus his magicka, and if I use a potion early in this fight, I should be able to use a potion later in the fight if I need to. At this point, he's immune to my invasion stun, but again, I'm just trying to stay on top of him. Once I get to him, I know he's going to bolt escape through me again, so I block it and avoid getting stunned myself. I invasion to him again. This one knocks him down since his immunity had wore out. I turn and I go to root him. I go ahead and I just do damage here because I'm thinking maybe, he's starting to run out of his ability to bolt escape, but he does end up bolt escaping through me again. This time I eat the stun because I was trying to do damage to him. However, he did get rooted by my crippling grasp, so that gives me time to break the stun, turn, and get another invasion on him to get on top of him. So one thing you hear a lot on the ESO forums is that sorcerers claim that they're low HP and squishy. Well, they obviously don't understand how this game works. You're only low HP and squishy if you choose to be low HP and squishy. Take a look at this sorcerer. He has 2,979 hit points, and he is definitely not squishy. He's using Harden Ward, which gives him a damage shield quite often throughout this fight. Now FTC appears to have a bug because the damage shield shows up on my health bar, but I don't have any damage shields. It's his damage shield, and you can see that up at the top. If you look at the top of the screen, his health bar, there's this kind of like bluish purplish extender on his health. That's his damage shield. You'll also notice that he has some regen going on with that damage shield. I'm not sure where that's coming from. It's probably from a potion. So again, I'm just trying to keep up with him here. I'd hit him with the crippling grasp and then go to use invasion to close the gap again. But take a look at this. As I'm getting on him with the invasion, he blocks it. So that was a skillful play by him there. Now, I wasn't concerned about getting stunned by his bolt escape because you see at the bottom of my feet I still have the swirly animation, which means I'm immune from breaking the stun a little while ago. However, it drops the very instant that he bolt escapes through me and I get stunned by it. Now here from the animation you can see that it looks like he passes right through me, which would put his direction behind me. However, if you look at the upper left of the screen, you can see, it's off the screen, but you can see the glow of his ending of the bolt escape right off screen there, along with the right hand side of my targeting frame. So I noticed that out the corner of my eye, and that allowed me to track him in the correct direction. Otherwise, I would have thought that he went straight through me and behind me. I'm not sure if that's an animation glitch or if he did some type of juke in the mid cast of it to mislead me on the direction of his bolt escape. Okay, so he won the battle between my stamina and his magicka because I no longer have enough stamina to close the gap. He seems to realize this and he pulls up to start hitting me with his nukes. I see him casting the nuke. I go ahead and block the first volley of it. Some of it gets through. Since he's standing and casting, that allows me to get up to him and hit him with some damage and shield bash. Now, I am not using the bash glyphs in this fight. I dropped them because I don't want to get used to the damage that is definitely over the top and overpowered and is getting fixed. So you'll notice in this fight, my shield bashes are hitting for no more than 200. That damage is probably still going to come down, and even if it comes down a bit from that, it's still a very good ability, because you can use it offensively while still providing you those nice defensive bonuses from one hand and shield. Okay, on my right hand side you can see an enemy player coming in. I noticed him going into stealth, but there was really nothing I could do about it. I did not have enough stamina to shield charge him to stop him from going into stealth, and I can't get on him because if I decide to switch targets and go after that guy, that sorcerer kills me easily. You have to stay on top of the sorcerer so he cannot free cast his nukes on you. So my only option here is to basically stay on the sorcerer and hope that this ad is not a very good player. So the sorcerer has gained separation and uses that opportunity to dump some big damage into me. But notice how when I get on him here, he does not bolt escape away. So this is an indication that he is low on magicka. Unfortunately though, the ad, who is VR7, is not completely worthless, and he uses Magnum Shot to get me off of that sorcerer. Now, I wasn't able to block that since I'm low on stamina. I'm also low on magicka and low on health. And this is where my decision to use a potion early in the fight when I was still chasing him down pays off, because my potion is back up and I'm able to use it to give me a nice boost in stamina, magicka, and health. With that boost, I'm able to get an invasion off on the sorcerer. I do a couple of sap essences here. It's not much healing, but you never know, right? I get like 124 healing for casting it twice. Again, not a lot of healing, but you never know. That just might make the difference between me being able to kill the sorcerer or dying right before I'm able to. So the sorcerer was able to do another bolt escape there to get separation, and now it's decision time for me and the sorcerer. He decides to pull up and cast Dark Exchange. Now I have a choice. Do I want to block the damage that's coming in from the bow behind me, or not block it and hope that I get enough regen and stamina in order to get a charge off? See, if I go into block here, yes, I'll mitigate some of the arrow damage hitting me, but I won't have enough stamina to close the gap. So I decide to go ahead and eat all of the arrow damage, not block, and hope that I get stamina regen fast enough in order to get an invasion off to interrupt his Dark Exchange. And it just so happens that I do get enough regen to get that invasion off. I interrupt him after he only gets one tick from Dark Exchange, which is converting his stamina into health and magicka. While he's down on the ground, I swing around behind him and finish him off with 2 Killer's Blades. I used whatever stamina I had left to block, and I did end up blocking one of the VR7's bow shots. I was really concerned that he was going to hit me again with Magnum Shot to knock me off of the sorcerer, and unfortunately we'll never know due to the API what exactly I blocked. It was probably a light attack, but I'd like to think that I blocked the Magnum Shot, because that would have been one of the most clutch things I've ever done in gaming if it was. So that was just an incredibly fun fight. Thank you, Battle Scars, for that great fight. That was just awesome. And I mentioned before, you know, some people know I posted a movie that's very critical of sorcerers and bolt escape. But I actually mentioned that I have no problem with a sorcerer who uses bolt escape in combat to set themselves up with positioning, to kite until I'm no longer on them, so they can have time to get their casts off. And that's exactly what this sorcerer did. He was using it in a fight, to set himself up, and that is fine. What I don't like are the chicken shit sorcerers who only use it to escape from any situation where it's even remotely slightly possible that they might die. Now, I don't have the solution to this situation. I don't like these chicken shit sorcerers being rewarded for what they do, but I also don't want a sorcerer like this guy who's using it correctly to be punished. I do not have the solution to this. But what I do know is this. I know it's the case that not all sorcerers are chicken shits, but it will be the case that all chicken shits will be sorcerers if bolt escape is not changed. Before I go ahead and show this fight unedited and in real time, I want to thank all of the add-on authors out there. Without your efforts and work, I probably wouldn't still be playing this game. I understand the decision they made in order to give a very minimalist UI for immersion, but when it comes to competitive PvP, you have to see what happened to you in order to improve your game. So the combat log is very crucial for that. FTC is very crucial for that. And as a movie maker, when you make PvP movies, the viewer has to know what's going on. When you look at the original UI, someone watching that has no clue what's happening. Hell, you're playing and you don't even have a clue what's happening. So how can someone watch the game and get interested in it? How do you draw consumers in when the UI is like this? So Combat Cloud. I mean, the author of this, I want to thank you for Combat Cloud. It gives the UI kind of an older feel for it. You can see the damage that I'm doing right there in front of you. You can see the damage that I'm taking. So thanks to all of the add-on authors out there. Without you, I think there are a lot of people that would not still be playing the game, and you should be thanked by those players, but also ZeniMax.